Kia ora school. Sorry I can't be with you in person this morning. I'm just going to be talking a little bit about this thing called fear, worry, um, and just talking a bit around how that plays out a little bit in our bodies and in our thoughts. So some of the things that people might be worried about are what's coming up next year, what does year 11 look like, it's level 1, it's NCEA, all of those things, they seem unknown and big and like something that you've been building up towards over the last few years. What they actually are is they are actually just your natural next step. So your next step from year 10 is into year 11. It looks a bit different. So perhaps just talking yourself through that and saying, there isn't this huge, enormous jump. It's actually just my natural next step. So keep walking forward and you'll find out that you're not alone in feeling like there's the unknown. Your teachers there know that you feel a bit alone and maybe worried, and they do a lot to try and make it a soft landing into year 11. So you can be confident of that and reassured about that. When we worry, maybe things about camp, maybe stepping out of my comfort zone in camp, it's going to be hard, I'm going to be challenged, feeling a bit nervous. For some of you, that might be on the activities. For some of you, that might be just being away from home. For some of you, that might be sharing a cabin with a lot of noisy people. Some of you might love that part of it. So it's stepping out of our comfort zone when we go on camp, and it can be the most exciting and growing thing for us. So what I'd encourage you to do is to just take 2 little thoughts away. One is asking myself about that unknown. What is in my control? What is out of my control? And what's partially in my control? So the things that are completely out of my control are, for example, I have to do level 1 next year. That's just going to happen. What's completely in my control is how I respond to that. And what's partially in my control are maybe like, I could find out a bit more information. I could actually ask questions and I might get some. And so there's some stuff that I don't know now that I can bring a bit more control in. So think about whether it's that kind of, I use a traffic light like red, that's completely out of my control and I just need to learn to accept that the best I can and manage my response. Is it a green thing? I have full control. I can actually do something about this. Or is it in the orange category where, I've got partial control over this nervous sort of situation that's bringing me a bit of nerves. An example of what happens in our body, which is the other side, is the story of my sister and I when we had the privilege of going to Vienna, which is where my mum was born, about 4 years ago. So I was about 46, and I love like Rainbow's End and roller coasters and things like that. It's like I really enjoy that stuff, and my sister just doesn't really enjoy that stuff. Let's just put it that way. But she agreed to go with me on this thing called the Prater Tower. You should Google it after this. Just have a look. The Prater Tower. It looks like just a regular little swings kind of thing, but then it actually starts to lift up. It goes up and up and up, 117 meters. So it feels like you are almost like flying through the sky at 117 meters up. So just completely different feel to being like locked in on a roller coaster kind of feeling. Quite scary actually. And as we were standing in the queue, I said to her, I'm so excited. I love this. And she was like, oh, I'm so nervous. I could throw up kind of thing. And then I said, you know what, actually probably the same stuff's going on in our body, which is like palms are sweating, like your heart's racing, you might be shaking a little bit, you might be feeling what's going on in your stomach. And so in a way, some of our nerves is about the story we tell ourselves about it. And so I'd encourage you to just think about the story you're telling yourself. Could you tell yourself the story that I'm feeling really, really nervous and anxious? Or could I tell myself the story that I'm actually quite excited, this is sort of thrilling, and I'm going to try and just step out of my comfort zone a little and embrace it and grow through it. And don't judge yourself for feeling those feelings. You can just notice them in your body and say, you know what, whether I'm feeling anxious or whether I'm feeling excited, I still want to go on the Prater Tower. And you can do it. So I just encourage you with those few thoughts and have a great day.